Money day. Here's this week's commentary and targets for the week coming ahead. Yes, I do sound ill because I am, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's get straight into it. This week I do think it's going to be a bit of a slow start to the week in terms of finding a really high probable setup. Obviously, last week we had the play into that daily candle, we held it, and then we stretched lower. As you can see here, what's rather interesting that I can't deny is the fact that we had a close back up into the range, right? And what do I mean by the range? I mean by the swing, right? So if we're looking at this high to this low, we had a pullback, right? Instead of us having a lower low, we've essentially just closed back up in there. Now, one of two things can happen. This can be a potential displacement or a big move higher, a bigger move higher, right? And then we can potentially look for some buys to target this high and this high up above, or we're just retesting this daily candle again, right? And I'm more inclined to believe that we are just testing the daily candle again. Obviously, we've got this 4 hour candle. I also like the fact that we didn't pierce above Wednesday's high on Friday during NFP. We kind of just hung around this level. We didn't really push up or push down really all that much in the grand scheme of things, but it was still, a decent move from NFP as we did push higher. So in that regard, for Monday, I need to see how Monday's daily candle is going to print. And really trying to anticipate how this weekly candle is going to look. And to be honest with you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we do run last week's high. I wouldn't be surprised if we do run the high of the week last week, which was Wednesday, right? No, Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if we do run Monday's high, which is here. Okay. Well, that's not right. It should be this one here. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's say Wednesday's high. If we do run Wednesday's high and then we sell off, depending on how the candles close, it's fine seeing wicks. The bodies tell the story, right? And this wick that we left behind is a very clear target to me if we do start to break down lower. And for now, that's a really big if. It's not clear exactly what markets wants to do at this very moment in time. For GU, if we're looking at the weekly perspective, it's got both upside and downside potential. Obviously, GU's now formed, well, the prior week formed that weekly imbalance, which we can head down into. So, in terms of looking at GU or looking at the differences between GU and EU, it's like, okay, cool. If price does, or if the dollar, shall I say, does start to break down lower, I will look to buy EU. If the dollar starts to push up and break the highs, I will look to sell GU. Why? Because GU just has a much clearer target on the weekly time frame, on the high time frame than Euro USD does, or AED USD. To me, these pairs are still incredibly bullish. We may have one more run of the lows. For EU, I'd still like to see us hold. I'd still like to see us hold Friday's candle, this daily candle here. So, like I said in the Discord, you could just take the trade from now, put your stop beneath that daily candle on Friday and target the new swing high up above. That's a nice 1 to 3 hour trade. That works. Last but not least is gold. So gold, we've got this gap below, and I do think we are drawing towards the gap. I was more inclined on longs last week, but once I saw how Thursday closed, I thought to myself, okay, there's a good chance that um, today was going to be a short. Well, Friday was going to be a short, right? I did try to do some counter buys on the way up, or sorry, on the way down as well, just to, of course, understand that there are areas that prices could have reacted from as well. So ideally, as I was saying, I want to see this gap, right? I want to see us interact with this gap come Monday. Overall, this is still bullish, right? If we look at things on a daily perspective, I'm still looking for higher prices on gold, unless if anything changes. That weekly candle does look a little bit crazy though. That candle there on the weekly does look pretty bearish to me, but nonetheless, I am looking for a little bit of a push up potentially come start of the week, since we're so close to that gap there on the H4, and then we can work from there. But you know, again, we're just bullish, so we're just gonna play the structure. If we, do push up maybe back to 33, 38, and then we have a failure, right? So we push back up into this level here, around this level, and we have a failure to create a new high, we could potentially pull up, right? Consolidate here for a bit and then drop lower and then take out those daily lows there, right? Obviously, once we take out those daily lows, then we flip back to bearish. So then we'll have to look at lower prices and potentially 12th of May's weekly candles low. But this is just speculation for now. But I really want to see what gold's going to do inside this gap here. Yeah, other than that, when we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin played out beautifully on the daily. We had a test of that daily area. We flew straight down to a TP. We're having an incredibly sharp rejection, right, back up into the range. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if we do actually get another test inside this weekly area. This reaction or rejection that we got was very, very fast. But look, if we do head up higher to all-time highs again, it's perfectly a-okay because we've done everything we needed to do that on the weekly. If that's what is sufficient for markets to do, then markets will do what it wants to do. All right. Other than that, guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video out. I'll see you guys in the Discord. Peace.